Welcome to FoxEncounter. I am your host, Fox. Please consider taking a few seconds to subscribe, drop a like on the video, and share it with your friends. Stay tuned for more content and enjoy the episode.
And now, suspense.
Well, I'm glad we're able to do this. I mean, I know we've been talking a little bit about trying to get some kind of collaboration done, but I'm glad we're doing this kind of thing now too, because I feel like in this sort of this medium, it's a little bit more fun, I think.
Yeah.
Like I tend to have a lot more fun doing like these kinds of calls or these kinds of like videos. So where I remember when I used to do a lot of the live stream stuff, and it was cool, but it's very chaotic. I don't get to control a lot of things. So I don't like that whole, I don't like the idea of just not being able to be in control of stuff. So I enjoyed this a lot better. That, and if I do say something stupid, then I can just edit it out later.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally agree.
We've had plenty of interactions on like Instagram and on YouTube. You're a big supporter of mine. I'm a big supporter of yours. Like I appreciate every single time that I see you in my comments.
Oh yeah, no problem. Like to me, as chaotic and all over the place and confusing and nonsensical as YouTube's algorithm is, I have to say it is allowed me to connect and come across a lot of people that I really value and have been a part of the community. And it's just nice to just kind of learn about people and grow and see like what their perspectives are when it comes to film and just this medium. And so so it's been great. Just I guess being on this journey with you and with others, and the support thing to me is just like once I'm on board with somebody, then I'm on board. Like unless you just do something absolutely horrific that I can't rock with, but usually you got me. You got a supporter for life. So and I feel like what was great about your channel, because really once I saw that I remember, I can't remember the title. But I do know once you had that video where you used the clip of I hope I'm saying her name correctly, but is it Maita or is it Maita? The "Be Don't Be Mad" song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
Bitch, don't be mad.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh wow, like that's I thought that was great. And then the interviews, I'm a big interview person. I love hearing like insight just in general. Like I'm in life, I enjoy having conversations with people. I love getting insight. I'm big on questions, and that's also allowed me to connect with a lot of different people. So I'm seeing you also do that, and with people who are not considered mainstream, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but we know how it is when it comes to the public and it comes to these platforms and who's considered important and who's not. So the fact that it was people who had a lot of experiences in the industry and had things to contribute, but didn't necessarily always have the opportunity to express those things, I was like, oh, I love this. So so it's been no problem at all. Yeah,
that's I think that's one of like the main things that I did want to do primarily with those interviews was just like I'm a big believer in like just wanting to like I guess expose people to different types of things, like whether it be movies or actors or things like that, or even like music, because that's always been my thing. Even when I did do physical media content, I was constantly just like, I don't want to just, I mean, no offense to anybody who does, but I just didn't want to be that person who was always showing off like the newest, like new release titles. Cause I'm like, you can literally, and I've done this before, literally just search that up every Tuesday and you'll get like 100 different videos of people just showing off like the same exact thing. And I was like, I why do we have all of this if I can literally only watch like one or two people and then I'd be okay? So I was like, if I'm going to do that, because I love talking about movies, and at the time I was just buying like crazy amounts of movies. And I just wanted to show off the stuff because I was like, well, a lot of people don't really talk about these kind of obscure or lesser known films that I'm finding that I really like. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with that. And then I was thinking, well, I love talking to people about movies, and I wanted to start talking to people in the film industry about, their experiences and stuff. But I also wanted to make sure that I was getting people that were, I guess, still kind of fresh in a way, but also have a lot of experience to where they can give me that insight, but also they have like a unique take on it where they're not so deep into the game to where they're kind of jaded in a way. Like
Exactly.
they're still fresh enough to where everything is on that journey, I guess, is what I wanted to, like, I guess, document in a way. Like, these are the people and this is where they are now, and this is their like journey, I guess. Because
Right.
when you've talked to, it would be awesome to be talking to people who are already very well established. There's really nothing new that I could talk to them about, I guess. They've kind of done it all already, I guess, in a way. So there's really
Mhm.
nothing fresh that I could. And by that time, they probably would have been interviewed by like hundreds of people, and they probably been asked the same questions over and over again.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's what I'd like to do with those interviews is just think of questions or think of things. I do a lot of really like crazy deep dives into their backgrounds, and some
Mhm.
of them have complimented me on that, like, whoa, like I don't even remember that, or like, whoa, like you dug really deep on that one. It's like, yeah, that's what I like to do, because I'm sure you've heard the same question just over and over. So I wanted to, bring
Exactly.
something new to the table.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's so funny because I was watching, usually I'll watch some, it kind of depends. I pick and choose, but my mom will watch the pre-show for the Oscars and the red carpet, and I'm not gonna say any names, but it was very clear that the person who was interviewing these various people on the carpet, it was kind of clear that they were new and they were only there because they were a celebrity. This is someone who does not necessarily have media training, or I can tell they're not in the world of journalism in that sense. Which is like, and that's not a judgment thing, but it kind of became clear after a while because the responses, the questions, like what was being said, and I was kind of like, this is all very like surface, and it feels disingenuous, and that may not have been their intention, but it was very like here. And I was like, say something, like I don't know, like in my head, I could hear so many different questions. Like if I had that opportunity, I would ask this, and that. And even if it's just the one question, because I understand they have to move from one guest to the next. But yeah, I was like, oh,
You were like the carrot top of interviewers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, and it's a good thing.
I'm
It's a
gonna
good
go
thing.
cry now.
No, don't cry now. Cry after the interview's over.
So I am a very introspective person. I'm like that when it comes to myself, and it can be to my detriment because I'm too much in here. But if I do have the opportunity to talk with people, even if it's just in real life, if it's on a live stream, if it's on YouTube or anywhere else, I like getting deeper. So I do think that's another piece that I connect to, because like I said, there's so many, like even when it comes to small talk, I understand some of that stuff is preliminary, but it feels awkward. It's like, oh, what's your favorite color? And it's like, I mean, okay. But so yeah, and I just being an analytical person, and I really like diving deeper with people, and as of course you can see, I do that sometimes with movies
Mhm.
on occasion.
What I like so much about like what you do those deep dives, and you also have like what I like about you is that you have like a genuine love for film that you can see. You can tell a lot of people do come off like, and it's probably just because in the beginning they probably did have that deep love for film, and it eventually just kind of became a job. So you
Mhm.
can see that a lot of them are very like, all right, I'm just doing this because I have to.
Right.
Hopefully you never get to that point.
Yes.
But
Right.
but that's what I really enjoy about your videos, is that you can tell that you have like a genuine love for film, and what you're saying is from the heart. Even when you're not enjoying something, you make it comedical, and that's what I do a lot of times too. Um, like I don't get mad about movies at all. I tell people, like, if I hate a movie, when I'm talking about it, I have a huge smile on my face because I'm just like, it's so bad, but it's
Right.
like it's funny. Like it's funny that it's so bad. The only time where I get like not necessarily angry at a movie is if it's frustrating for me to watch.
Mhm.
Like if I'm just frustrated watching it, I'm just like, ugh, like, but I'm never angry. I'm just either like annoyed and frustrated or just like laughing because I'm like, this is so bad.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's weird because I don't know if it's the same for you, but like I don't think I'm guessing you didn't have like a specific plan, like with YouTube, as far as how you were going to present on camera. Because I say this all the time, I wasn't going to be on camera. I was going to have an audio only channel, and I was like, no one wants to see this, and then no one wants to just stare at me the entire time. And it's been a whole journey for me with that. And even when it comes to the negativity, or I guess what could be negative thoughts about a film, I really, because I'm such a chill person, I'm calm, and there's usually no need for me to get really amped up about something. And it just so happened, I feel like I may have, if I did it before Halloween Kills, I can't remember, but I feel like Halloween Kills was like the gateway review where I was like, oh, I can really just clown and be really extra about how ridiculously foolish and all over the place this film was. And it just kind of came out. It's not even something that I planned necessarily.
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight!
Oh my god! Oh jeez! Oh my god!
Like I'll put my notes as far as like the information I want to put down and this and this and that. And, I have certain things I want to get across just to make sure I don't forget, because I feel like if I don't do that, I will ramble on and some of these reviews will look very different. So I'm always worried about that. But yeah, it's just easier just to lean into the fun of it, because nothing really for me is ever so, I don't know, nothing is ever so bad that it makes me like angry. The only review I would say that maybe leans a little bit more intensely that way was my review for the series Them on Prime Video. And that was deeper than just the series. I had a lot of issues just with, because that show is obviously depicting racial dynamics and things like that. And I just felt like the emphasis there was just on like this brutal imagery and this heightened violence, and it was just so ugly and so mean-spirited that a lot of my thoughts were just like, what are you doing? Like I'm questioning like everyone who, like, I mean, it went deeper than that. I had to really like cut down my thoughts, but then that's probably been the only time I've really given it that kind of energy, and I still didn't go as hard because I had to kind of talk myself down. My initial thoughts last episode, It's Over, I was like, like, so I had to step back and give myself time to breathe, and then I came back in. But outside of that, it's like, look, we can just have a good time. We can have fun. And now that I'm a little bit more aware of it now, it still is something that hops out. I will literally say certain things, or I'll have a moment, and then I'll circle back around to the finished product. I'm like, oh my gosh, did I really say that? Did I really do that? And so it's not embarrassment necessarily, but it almost feels like an out of body experience, or kind of I'm on the outside looking in sometimes. Yeah. But it's something I enjoy.
That I get that a lot. That's kind of what I'm known for. That's kind of what's made like me sort of like a controversial person in this whole spectrum of like film and physical media and stuff, is because I have a lot of very harsh opinions, I guess, and I stick to those opinions because one, I'm not saying these things to be like edgy or cool, or just to be like, oh, I want to stir up some controversy, so I'm going to say this. It's like, no, this is how I genuinely feel. But yeah, I do notice myself going a little like hardcore sometimes, where I'm just like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. But a lot of times I'm like, you know what, I said it, I don't care. Because like a lot of times too, like and even the stuff that I do say that might sound kind of wild to some people, that has already gone through a filter, so you can only imagine like what I could have said. One of the things to backtrack a little bit about kind of what got me into watching your videos was, and here's how you would know, and how everyone is going to know how much I really do respect your craft and what you do, is because I don't like movie reviews or movie critics. I really don't. So for me to say that I really like your stuff means that you do something that like no one else does. And you do it better than a lot of other people, because I would tell people all the time. I was just having a conversation with somebody like an hour or two ago on Instagram about this, and they're like, "Oh, I had posted. I don't know if you saw it. I posted like a little poll about Megan. I had just watched it the other day,
right? And
I was asking people like, did you enjoy it or whatever? And somebody messaged me and was like, "Oh, I haven't seen this movie, but my favorite like YouTube film critic said it was overrated, so I didn't watch it. And I was like this on my phone. I was like, oh god, like
Mhm.
I've never understood that why
Mhm.
people put so much stock into what a film critic says. Like
Mhm.
I understand the the whole like journalism behind it, and just people just like talking about movies because they love it. That's fine. Like I don't really mind that. It's just when people take too much, when they take those people's word to heart and then just let their word affect the way they think or affect the way what they choose to watch or whatever. And it's not just for movies. I mean, in general, I like it when people just form their own opinions and things. I can see somebody, I can take someone's opinion and be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. But I'm not gonna let that dictate what I do and what I see. And that's what I felt a lot of YouTuber reviewers and critics have a lot of power from that. And I've seen it being used in very egotistical and negative ways, which is why I just didn't watch movie reviewers for the longest time, because I had just really way too many like bad experiences with them. Because I was a fan when I first started out.
Right.
When I first started, before I started making videos, that was really like the only film related content on YouTube that you could watch that was pretty popular, was a lot of these like YouTube film critics who I won't name because we probably already know a bunch of those big time guys. And yeah, I personally don't like any of them. So there's like a bit of a background to that. And so when I genuinely tell you that I really like your reviews and I really like what you're doing, that just shows like how genuine I am.
Yeah, no, that definitely, because I feel like you've touched on some of this before, but
Mhm.
I haven't heard all of this. So it definitely means a lot to make it into the winner's circle, so to speak. It means a lot, and it's so funny. And I never thought about it. I think someone just asked me. I think I was just having a conversation with one of my friends about the whole YouTube thing, and because I realize most people, like you're talking about the movie critics and all the folks on YouTube, when I like my enjoyment of YouTube, not even like having a real account, well, having another account. This is before I did all this, but I used to in college. That's when I got deeper into videography. I was in the mass
Mhm.
media program at my college, and I graduated from it, and so I learned a lot about production and audio and so on and so forth. And I kind of gravitated to making films or recording or just video, videography in general.
Mhm.
And with YouTube, I over time, because for the longest it was about me finding like old 90s music videos and old 90s videos, video games. Like it was kind of a
Mhm.
nostalgic thing when YouTube was started out. So that's all I really used it for. And then over time, I I didn't understand the algorithm, any of that, but I just kind of found different, videos here and there. And so I stumbled upon these hair care videos, and so these beauty gurus who would do like natural hair, and they would do like these twist outs and these rods and all this stuff. And it was so interesting to me because I was like, wow, like I never knew like the process that went into that. And then a lot of them would use like these super high HD cameras, like 1080 and 720, and I wasn't used to
Mhm.
that, so I was like, wow. So a lot of it, there was a lot of kind of like sensory engagement that I had watching that. So, and then I found, a couple other channels where like they did beauty stuff, but they also did like tech stuff where it's like, oh, I use this camera and this is how you focus this and this is how you do filters. And so like a lot of my appreciation and wanting to like do videos or do video work, doing interviews and all that kind of stuff, which I actually did, came from that. But I
Mhm.
didn't actually know that there were people who actually did the movie critic thing. And people always told me I should do it, but I was kind of like, there are different reasons why I didn't feel compelled to do it. Some of it was the limitations. Well, some of it, yeah, I think some of it came down to limitations at the time. Like you could
Mhm.
only upload 15 minutes. You could only like, there were all these things in place. And I was worried if I got on there, I wouldn't be able to make it work. No one wants to just sit there and listen to me. And if I can't use pictures and fair use and copyright, so I was like, no, I'm just not going to do it. So when I finally did start back in 2020, there was no one that I had as a template, right? There was there was nothing to follow. I was like, okay, I have to figure out how I'm going to make this work. And so the easiest thing for me to do was just to do like these small little series in, series recaps of a show called Insecure with Issa Rae. I was like, hey, let me just get comfortable with this. And I'm not going to tell anyone about it. I'm just going to do it. Then I was like, okay, let me try to do a trailer reaction and see what that's like. I didn't know that was a thing on YouTube either. I promise you, I've been so off in another sector that I didn't realize this was a thing. And then I think my breakthrough with the reaction was like, oh, well, what can I add to this? And I figured, okay, let me just give some information about, who's directing this and who's in the cast. And over time, it just kind of evolved from there. And so that could be, not to say that if I watched any movie critics that I would have tailored myself after them, because I'm not that type of person. But I do think having a totally different, I guess, experience with YouTube and not even realizing that this was a thing, I think it helps as far as me just being able to kind of establish my own, I guess, platform. I know that word is, I know that's annoying, but just kind of establishing my own identity on this platform or just this site, and as I guess, a creator of sorts.